So it has been quite a while since I've done any tier lists. Just about 6 months to be exact. I've done minigame tier lists for Mario Parties 1 to 9, and I kinda just stopped. Today, we're gonna be doing Mario Party 10. I think it's about time that we kinda move this series forward to kinda get towards the end a little, and today we're gonna be doing Mario Party 10. I'm gonna let you guys know now that I only honestly plan on doing Super after this for a little bit. There are two reasons why I think I'm only going to be doing Super after this. The first reason is because I don't really want to use footage from other people. Like, if I can get the footage myself, I would rather do that. And the second reason, aside from maybe Mario Party DS, I don't think a lot of people really care about the 3DS Mario Parties. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but just kind of from my feel, just looking on YouTube and everything, I don't think people really care for too many Mario Parties that aren't on console. So, now that we've got that little bit out of the way, this is how the tier list is going to work. If it goes in S tier, it is the top of the top. If it is in A tier, it is a great minigame. If it goes in B tier, then it's a good. C tier is okay. D tier is bad, and then F is the worst of the worst. And we're going to be starting it off with Shy Guy Shuffle. I think Shy Guy Shuffle is good when all things considered. It's just follow the Shy Guy with a specific amount of donuts. If you want to be risky, you can go for the 5. If you think everybody's going for the 5, you go for the 4, and just make sure you keep track of everything. So I mean, I think it's good. I'm just going to put it in B tier. Next up, we got Snake Block Party. This is one of those that I'm disappointed in. As Mario Party went along, they decided that whenever you have like a platforming challenge or like an enemy hits you challenge or whatever, they decided that you need multiple lives because apparently one isn't enough. Most of the games that they give you these multiple lives in, you don't need them. Unless you're like 2 years old, you should be able to do it pretty easily. So because of that, I'm just gonna put it in C tier. It's okay. It could be better, but with the way that it's constructed, it's just okay. Up next, we got Cheep Cheep Leap. Hop around and hit the Cheep Cheeps. That's really all it is. And you know what? It's pretty good. You got the normal Cheep Cheeps that give you 1, you got the golden Cheep Cheeps, what I'm pretty sure are gonna give you 3, and then you got the big Cheep Cheeps that give you 2. You can push people out of the way, you can get in front of them. I think overall it's just a pretty fun time, so that one is going to go in B as well. Up next, we got Pipa Panic. And just like I said with Snake Block, you don't need the 3 lives. You really don't. And even then, something that I didn't mention with Snake Block is that if you make it to the end first and you have 1 life because you messed up so much, and then you got somebody who was just behind you but has all of his lives, you'll still win. So if it is still based on speed, why are there even lives? Maybe it's just my old school mentality from the original Mario parties, but I feel like if you fall off multiple times and you got somebody right behind you that didn't fall off, the person that didn't fall off shouldn't get penalized because the other person fell off a few times. So yeah, this one is just gonna go right with the other one in C. Up next, we got Bouncy Ball Brawl. I actually really like this one. I like how each time that you play it, it's a little bit of like a different map. I don't know how many maps there exactly are, but it really comes down to strategizing how you want to go about it, what route you want to take, what route is everybody else taking, will they get in your way? So it's a lot of thinking, but it just doesn't feel like it's a lot of thinking. So this one is going to be the first one that I put in A tier. Up next, we got Bamboogie. This one is just basically reaction time and making sure that you don't hit the bombs. So I mean, there's honestly nothing more to say about it. Just be faster than everybody else and don't hit the bombs. It's alright, it's okay. It's probably like top C, low B. It's right in that space where it could be good, but it's also okay. You know, it's alright. Up next, we got Spiked Ball Scramble. With this one, you'll run along the path, make sure you don't get hit by spikes, and then you'll come in a fork in the road where you can choose one path or the other. One is always good, one is always bad, and it's just kind of luck on if you get the good one or bad one, and then it's just your skill depending on if you end up hitting the spiked wall, falling into the lava, or continuing on. I think this one is pretty good. I'm gonna put it top B, low A. I might change it just like I might change the golf one. That's still to be determined when I get, a little further in with every rating. Up next, we got Bouncy Brawl. I also think this one is pretty good as well. You spin around and try to knock your opponents off. Think of it as like Bounce and Trounce, I think it is, from Mario Party 3. Except you continuously spin. You don't only spin once while you're in the air, and you don't have a platform falling underneath you. But you can go as fast as you want, and the only thing that's stopping you is if you go too fast, you'll spin out, and then it'll give everybody else the ample opportunity to knock you out. So yeah, this one's pretty good. I'm gonna put this one in B as well. Up next, we got Fruit Scoot Scurry. Hop around the platforms and grab all the fruits before everybody else does. If you end up getting on the same platform as somebody else, you both end up back in the one that you started on. And this one is pretty good. It's not the best, it's not bad, so it's gonna go in B as well. Up next, we got Goomba Gotcha. Now, I feel like I have a little bit of an issue with this one. I don't mind counting mini games. I don't mind, like pointing and clicking mini games. But my main issue with this one is it just feels slow. I think this mini game could be a lot better if the area was a little bigger and if you had all the different types of Goombas or whatever walking at a faster pace. I honestly think they botched this one. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put this one in D tier. Up next, we got Cliffside Crisis. Now I'm gonna be straightforward with you. I think this is a good minigame. The only issue that I kind of have with it is the fact that you can't attack other players. Maybe make the platforms a little wider, allow us to attack each other, ground pound each other, something. But it really doesn't have any of that. So unfortunately, what could be a great minigame, in my opinion, just has to go into B tier. While I think it's fun, it could be so much better. Up next, we got Dyson Dash. While I like this minigame because I'm good at it, because I can time everything and probably get everything in the first 3 rolls, my main issue is I feel like the dice could be just a little faster. I feel like there should be maybe like 4 or 5 different things that you have to get instead of just 3, but maybe they thought that was too difficult if you end up somehow getting the Bowser. So I mean, okay, but I feel like this is just too easy. So because it's too easy, I'm gonna put it in the okay category. Up next, we got Fruit of the Doom. With this one, you catch the falling fruit from the waterfall and make sure you don't get the spikes up your butt. If you do get hit with the spikes, then you're gonna drop your own fruit, and then everybody else is gonna be able to pick up your fruit along with the other fruit. I think this minigame is pretty good, and the one thing that could take it from that good to great minigame is if in the end segment where they have a shit ton of fruit just falling down, they could have had it to where a couple spikes drop as well. I think that would have made it just a little more fun. So I'm gonna put this one in B tier. Alright, now we're getting to the part where I don't know where I stand with everybody else. I don't know how everybody else feels about this minigame. We're talking about Fumio Once. Now, Fumio Once is a minigame where you have to memorize 7 different platforms and the letter or number that is on each of them. And then one by one, you have to input it to make sure you get on the right platform. I really like this one. I'm not always the best with memory minigames, but this one I just really like. So I'm debating even right now as to where to put it, because I could put it in 2 different tiers. But I think for now, I'm gonna take the more tame route, and I'm gonna put it in high A. I could put it in S just because of how much I like it, but I feel like, to be fair, I should put it in A, because it's not the top of the top, but I think it is still really good. Up next, we got Rapid River Race. And I'm not even gonna wait for the video to play showing off the gameplay. I'm just going to immediately put it in S tier. This is probably my favorite minigame from Mario Party 10. Everybody has their own lane that they can race in, and you can go at your own speed. If you want to go slow, go slow. That's your decision. But if you want to go as fast as possible, trying to avoid every little thing with about a millisecond to do it, you can do that. It gives you the option to go as fast or slow as you want. And if you do go fast, it is fucking fun. You're probably going to mess up a time or two, but it is fun. So yeah, I don't know how many people might agree with me, but it's S tier for me. Up next, we got Beeline Shrine. And hey, wouldn't you look at it, a game that you got 3 lives where you don't need 3 lives. And out of the 3 minigames that give you the 3 lives in this one, I think this is the easiest. I think so long as your controller doesn't disconnect in the middle of the minigame, and you've played any game ever before that has you moving around, you shouldn't lose a life. The only way I can see you losing a life is if you accidentally like jump off of somebody's head and then like the bees start to rise up and hit you, or you go just in the wrong place. But I really think this is probably the easiest of the 3. So I'm just gonna put this in the lowest part of C tier. Up next, we got Blooper Blast Off. Take your blooper up through the water and make sure you don't get hit by missiles. That's really all it is. It's okay. There's really nothing amazing about it. There's nothing bad about it, but it's just an okay minigame. It could be a good minigame, it could be an okay minigame. It's in between, just like with the golf. So I'm just gonna put it at high C along with the golf. Up next, we got Paintball Battle. You got a giant square and you gotta make sure you hit your opponents with some paintballs. Now, I don't mind this one with the 3 lives. I forgot this one had 3 lives. But I don't mind this one because if you have somebody with 3 lives and you have somebody with 1 life, then the person with the 1 life isn't gonna get first place, like with the racing ones. And it's me against you, not me against a couple bees. So this is probably the one of the 3 lives thing that I can actually stand. So I'm gonna put this one in low B tier. Up next, we got Ice Slide, You Slide. Slide under the things that hop up and then jump over the snowballs. And then at the very end, you're gonna shake your remote as fast as you can to try to get to the end. The only thing that I think I have an issue with this minigame is sometimes I don't think it fully knows exactly what you're trying to do with your controller. Because I swear there are times where I try to do like the triple jump or just jump 3 times in a row and then it will not jump that 3rd time. Maybe that's just me, but I've definitely had those issues. That doesn't really take it down in rating for me, but it's still just an annoying thing to deal with. So I'm gonna put this one in B tier. Up next, we got Goomba Gallop. Now, I think this is a better counting game than the other one, and they do a pretty good job of making sure that all the 3 different types of Goombas or whatever the other things are, they keep them very close. They make sure that the total of them are like 1 away from each other. So you could have it to where it's like 8, 9, and 10. And it makes it a little difficult to figure it out. You have to have that keen eye of figuring out which one has like that 1 extra. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's gonna go with the other 2 that are like right on that edge. So I'm just gonna put it in there. Up next, we got Fruit Cahoots. You either press the button to make it go forward 1, or you don't. You can think of it as the Womp Boss if you want from Mario Party 9, to where if you do it and you get the bomb, you don't get sat on. You just don't get to do anything and you don't get points. And then if you do get points, it's not like you're getting 15 points around. So it's a little more balanced. Overall, I think this one is really good. It's really trying to figure out what your opponents are going to do, or your friends, or the computers, or whatever you want to call them. And then maybe take some information from what you know of your friends and use it against them. So I think this one is really good. I'm going to put this one in A tier as well. It's kind of like the Fumio Once, where it could be an S tier, but it probably is an A tier. Up next, we got Magma Meltdown. Now, I'm kind of mixed on this one. I think it's good, but then I play it sometimes and I think it's okay. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's the fact that you can't jump, you can't punch, you can't do anything except for run on platforms. And then sometimes if you run on platforms too early or too late, you just die. and you don't really have a way of like defending yourself from that other than just making sure you time it perfectly. So I mean, I don't know, like this one could go in 2, maybe even 3 different places depending on how I feel on a certain day. So I guess to be fair, I'll put it in like that middle ground, and that middle ground is going to be B tier. It could be great, it could be okay on like the given day of how I feel about it, so I'm just gonna put it in it's good. Up next we got Mini March. Now I really like this one as well. It's another one where you really got to use your brain, and you gotta be able to pick out a specific corner spot, 4, 5, 6 different placements, and be able to remember them all, because everybody is trying to remember everything on the board. And if you happen to memorize something that somebody else is memorizing as well, then you're gonna be in trouble. So you kind of gotta really be able to memorize as much as you can. So yeah, I really like this one. I'm gonna put this one in A tier. Up next we got Found It, Pound It. It's gonna give you a set of different symbols, and you gotta find the panels that follow those symbols. Really isn't anything more difficult than that. Just look, find the right symbol, ground pound it, and do that for 3 rounds. It's okay. It's that C tier where it's okay. Up next we got Platform Push. Now this is basically what I wanted from a bunch of other different games, where it's a platform, you can punch them, you can kick them, you can ground pound them, you can kind of push them, and as time goes along it'll get smaller and smaller, and the best is going to win. So I'm gonna put this one up in A tier because I think it does it pretty well. Up next we got Pipe Sniper. With Pipe Sniper you're shooting piranha plants coming out of pipes. I think Pipe Sniper is a good minigame. You're shooting the piranha planes, you gotta make sure that you're not shooting where everybody else is shooting. You also want to try to find the golden ones if you can. And that's really all there is to it. It's fine, it's not bad, so I'm gonna put this one in low B tier along with some of the others that are right around that point. Up next is Bob-omb Combo. Now this one is interesting because it may seem like you have full control over where you're gonna do it, and you have full control of kind of understanding how many bombs you're gonna get, but it is total luck. You could throw it in the middle of a giant like pile of bombs, but after you throw it there, you never know. They could all just scatter away and you'll end up with like 5. Or you may throw it where only a couple are and end up with like 40. So I mean, I think this one is pretty good. Like, I think this one is like higher B tier. This one's pretty nice. Up next we got Fuzzy Flyers. Now I think my opinion has changed on this over time. Like, this is a mini game that I thought is pretty good, then I think it's okay, then I think it's good, then I think it's alright, and then I think it's eh. This one maybe, I think this one fluctuates on me from time to time, but as it stands right now, I think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna put this one in B tier. Next up we got Flash Forward. And unless you want to hear me shit on this for probably the next 30-45 seconds, you should flash forward that amount of time. This game is boring. You're not even playing the minigame. The minigame is 10 seconds long. And your best strategy is to not play the minigame for the first 7 or 8. You wait till it hits 2 or 3 seconds, then you try to get on the platform and just be there for when it takes the picture. It's not even like it's multiple rounds. It's not even like you could be like a little bit in the background or on the side and get points. If you are not on that platform in 10 seconds, you are not getting points. I think this one is dumb, and I think they did a hell of a lot better of a minigame like this with Super Mario Party's Slapperazzi. That one is really good. This one is shit. This one is going to F tier. Whenever this one comes up, I would rather bash my head through my fucking window than play this. And the last 4-player minigame is Soar to Score. This one is probably difficult to get at the start of playing Mario Party 10, like when you first start playing and you're playing this minigame for like the first couple times. The timing is probably a little difficult. But as you play, you're gonna get to a point where you can get 60s or 80s pretty consistently. And then you'll get that 1 or 2 really lucky times where you'll get the 100. And I think this one's pretty good. This one is kind of on that, border for me. So I'm gonna put this one in top B. It could be A, but as of right now, I'm gonna put it in top B. Alright, so before we move on to the 2v2 minigames, I want to talk about a minigame that you probably noticed that I didn't talk about, but is actually on the board itself. And that minigame is Balloon Blast Bash. When I initially put the game on the tier list, I think I was being a little too harsh, so I'm just gonna move it up to like mid-C because you know what? I think it does deserve to not be in the bad category. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, the first minigame in the 2v2 section is Bobsled Battle. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a fine minigame. You're going down collecting coins. It's not a coin collecting game because, you know, it's Mario Party 10, not anything else. But it's just whoever can collect the most coins while going down wins. It's a fine minigame, wouldn't consider it amazing or horrible or anything, it's just fine, so we're just gonna put it around the middle of C as well. Up next, we got Soccer Brawl. Soccer Brawl is a pretty solid soccer minigame. I mean, it's obviously 2v2, and I think the controls while you're on the ball are pretty solid as well. So, I mean, it does everything that it's supposed to do pretty good. So, we're gonna take it all the way up to the B tier. Up next, we got Boo Burglars. One person has a flashlight and has to shine the ghost. Another person has the bug catcher, and you gotta catch the ghost. The nice thing about this is if you're the person with the flashlight and you know, flash somebody that has a diamond or whatever inside of them, then the person from the other team who has the net can come over and grab it instead of your own teammate. So it's a little bit more of a risk reward if you want to go away from your teammate or kind of stick with them the entire time. So again, I think this one is pretty good, so I'm just going to put it all the way up in B tier as well. Next up, we got Murky Maze. If you've watched my Mario Party 4 minigame tier list, you would know that Team Treasure Trek is one of my favorite 2v2 minigames. So, Murky Maze should, you know, be kind of up there. And I mean, it is, but it's definitely not on the same scale as Team Treasure Trek is. With this minigame, all you have to do is go through the maze and find each other, whereas Team Treasure Trek, you are going through and finding treasures and then trying to meet up. And the maze was bigger, it took a little longer, there was a little more chaos involved, so it's alright. I'll probably put it towards like the bottom of B tier. Up next, we got Ground Pound Pals. I really enjoy Ground Pound Pals because you really got to work with your teammate on this one. You really got to coordinate, yes, we're going for this one. And you know what? If you happen to go for a line and the opponent decided to go for a line that kind of corresponds, well, they're always going to correspond no matter what. But if they happen to get, you know, multiple that correspond before you can get to yours, that's just less that you can get. So you got to be able to really communicate and communicate quickly. So I really like this one. It's one of those, just like a few others, that kind of borders between the B and the A. So for now, I'll put it in that B spot. Up next, we got Bouncy Bounty. Another 2v2 minigame where it's basically just collecting coins and you gotta collect the most coins. It's not a coin collecting minigame because you don't get coins, you know, for it, but it's, you know, Mario Party 10. I'd say this one is alright. It's definitely not better than the other one in my opinion, so it's gonna go lower in the C, but I mean, it does its job, so yeah, we're just gonna put this like lower C. Up next, we got Bump Set Spike. So apparently we went from an alleged Mario Spikers, where it was gonna be this big Mario volleyball game, and this is what we got. A little mini game of Mario Party 10. Obviously the two aren't correlated at all, but I think I wouldn't mind having a Mario volleyball game or a Mario football game. You know, branch Mario out a little bit, you know, see what else we can do with him that's not golf and tennis for the 50th time in the past 10 years. Bring back baseball. Enough tangent on that anyway. This game is fine. One person sets, one person spikes, you know, it's as the damn game name says. So I mean, it's alright. I'll put it in like mid-C tier. Up next, we got Revolving Relay. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I think this is probably my favorite 2v2 minigame in the game. I feel like when you can get the momentum of the revolver just, you know, consistently going through, I think it's really good. It's very satisfying, and of course it can all come crumbling down if your teammate doesn't understand how circles work, but in the end, I just always really enjoy playing this one. So I'm gonna put this one at like the lower A. Up next, we got Goomba Combat. and I'm gonna guess that's what those Goomba things are. So in this game, you gotta punch the Goombats and make sure that you got the lower amount of Goombats on your side. Now this one is definitely chaotic. This one always goes down to the wire because you never really know how many Goombats you got on your goddamn territory. So again, this is good. It kind of borders, so we're gonna kind of put it towards the top section of A. And the final minigame for the 2v2s is Shape Up. You gotta build up the blocks and make sure that you don't do any stupid mistakes to where your thing can just fucking tumble. I feel like the most heartbreaking thing is building it up and then it goes to 3, 2, and then as soon as it says 1, your whole tower just collapses. That's gotta hurt. So I mean, yeah, this one's pretty good. I'm gonna put this one in like kind of like the mid B tier as well. I mean, the 2v2 minigames for the most part are pretty good in this one. But now we're gonna be moving on to the 1v3 or 1v2 or 1v however many people are, you know, playing. And we're gonna start it off with Hop, Drop, and Roll. With the 1v3 minigames, one of the things that I always look for is it fair for the 1 and is it fair for the 3? If one side outweighs the other, that lowers the score for me a little bit. So just keep that in mind as I go through these. But the one person in this game can drop some grolls and shoot some bullet bills. And then as a 3, you gotta hop around and make sure that you don't get hit, make sure you don't run into the grolls, and make sure that they don't somehow time it to whereas the groll is rolling towards you, you have the bullet bill right above it, because if they do that, you're fucked. But I think at least in my time that I've played it, I've seen, you know, a good amount of 1 winning and a good amount of 3 winning. And I think it's alright. It's not the best, not the worst. So we're gonna put it towards like the top of C. Up next, we got Bullet Bill Bullies. Now I'm gonna be straight up with this one. I fully believe that the 3-8 definitely have the advantage here. I feel like in my experiences and the experiences that I've seen other people play it, the 3 usually win. So I mean, that does hurt it a tiny bit, but I still find it really enjoyable. Even if I'm the 1, because if I can somehow pull off that win, it feels so good. And even as a 3, I don't feel like I'm too much in control, but when I'm on the other side, I still feel like I'm having fun. So this one's gonna go in the B tier. Up next, we got Watermelon Whalen. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like it would shock me if the 3 won this minigame. Again, maybe it's just my experiences and the things that I've seen, but I feel like I've almost never seen the 3 players win this. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one at like lower C. Up next, we got Skewer Scurry. And this minigame, in my opinion, is one of the more confusing additions that they did in Mario Party Superstars. Because I don't think it's a good minigame. Maybe they've changed it for Superstars, but in 10, it is extremely easy to win as a 3. The skewers give you so much time to make sure you do not get hit that it almost feels like if you're the 1, you might as well just put down the controller. Because you know what? You might have a better fucking chance to win if you do nothing. It's gonna go like lower D. The next minigame we got is Steal the Beat. I really enjoy this one, and I think the first comparison that comes to my mind is that one minigame in Mario Party 2. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's the one where the one person obviously, you know, does dance moves with like the A, B, Z, or the control sticks, and then they have to copy it. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, and I think this did it better. And it's more of a mess up this amount of times rather than you mess up once and you're out. So yeah, this one's pretty good. I'm gonna put this one like the top of B as well. Up next, we got Moving Mushrooms. One person controls 3 flappers while the 3 control their own flappers. If you're the 1, you really gotta pay attention. Although, maybe you feel like, doesn't really matter what I do, so I'll just flip my controller back and forth, you know, aimlessly. But I think this one is pretty good. I'm gonna put this one, you know, kind of towards like the middle of B. We're getting that B. There's a lot of good mini games in this one that I've noticed. There's a lot of good. There's not a lot of like, oh my god, that's the best, but there's a lot of good. Up next, we got Bubble Squabble. You know how I said we got a lot of good? Yeah, we kind of went down to we kind of went down a tier here. Person's blowing a bubble, make sure you don't get stuck in the bubble. Really it. You of course can save your teammates if you happen to go near them before they go off screen, but I think this one is just okay. So it's probably gonna go like middle of the pack, middle of C, right in that middle section. Up next, we got Cheap Check. This is basically the counting mini game for Mario Parties 1 and 2, but it's a 1v3, and the 3 people have to try to mess with the 1 so he can't count, you know, perfectly. I think the other way is better. Maybe it's just me because everybody gets to participate, and there's a little more, you know, diversion, confusion in those than there really is here. So this is just gonna go like, you know, lower C as well with the watermelon. Up next, we got Keep Away Mayhem. All right, we're back playing soccer. We gotta pass to our teammates and make sure the guy in the middle can't kick the ball. I think if you and your teammates have an IQ that are decently reasonable, you could probably keep it away from the guy in the center. You can kick the ball as soon as you get it. You can hold on to it for as long as you want. You can click left, right. You can do whatever you want. You obviously can't move unless you're the guy in the middle, but it's okay. I don't know what they could do to make it better, but as it is, it's just okay. So we're gonna put this around C tier. And the last 2v2 minigame that we have is Spring Fling. The one player hops on symbols, and those symbols will try to eject you from the arena map thing, whatever you want to call it. My honest suggestion for playing this game, try to stay in the middle. Stay in the 2 middle areas. Because if the one decides to hit the green and you go to purple, they can just go right to purple and hit you up, and hopefully they can do it fast enough to where you can't escape. So my suggestion, stay in the middle as long as you can. But I think this one is alright. We're gonna put this one towards like the top of C. It's better than some of the others that we talked about, but again, it's not one of those oh my god that's so amazing ones. Alright, now we're moving on to the creme de la creme, the top of the top, the most amazing mini games. Alright, I'm just fucking with you. We're moving on to the boss battles. Most of them are honestly mediocre at fucking best, but again, that's just my opinion. I really don't care for boss battles. First up, we got Mega Goomba. Mega Goomba, you climb a ladder and you jump on Goomba. Wow, so fucking innovative. That's so boring and bland, I'm just gonna put it in D. Next up, we got Petey. You throw bombs in Petey's mouth, and then when he decides to suck, you don't throw it or he'll spit it right back at you. Again, some of these are just, they could be so much better. I mean, it's better than Goomba, but not much. Heidi. Up next, we got Mega Sledge Bro. You go from jumping on a Goomba to throwing balls at a piranha. Now you just select a fucking card. This is basically like the Dry Bones game, but the Dry Bones game is better. So yeah, I'll put it around with Petey. Up next, we got King Boo's Tricky Tiles. And I'm saying the full name for this one because I actually like this one. Imagine that, King Boo in 9 and 10. I like those mini games for the bosses. This one actually has you moving a fucker around. You got boos that are fake tiles, and then you have the spots that give you 3 points. You got the spots that give you 1 point. And once you get like halfway, some of the boos might mix up a little bit and kind of mess you up. So I think it's overall a really good time. So overall, I think it's a really good minigame. You're gonna jump up a few things here. We're gonna go like, you know, towards the lower bit of B, but you know, not at the very low B. Next up, we got Mega Cheap Chomp. Yeah, you know when I don't say the full name, I don't care for it. Everybody's got 3 bullets. You can throw it at any time. Yes, there is a little bit of strategy with this one, but I feel like more times than not, it's everybody throws theirs and then maybe 1 or 2 people don't throw all of theirs. You're not going to see somebody not throw because strategy. You're not going to see somebody throw only 1 because of strategy. I feel like if you had unlimited bullets and maybe a shorter time, then maybe I would like it a little more. But as it is, yeah, don't care. Right with the others. Up next, we got Mega Blooper. I mean, it's a little better than the others. I'll give it that much. You know, I enjoy looking for the cards, and you have the ink that can hide the cards. And, you know, sometimes if you're really good, you can get a lot of them. So, I mean, this one, it's fine. It's better than the others. I'll give it that. So this one, I'm gonna put, you know, a little bit towards the lower bit of C. Next up, we got Mega Monty Mole's Maze Mischief. Now, the only thing that I feel like is meh with this minigame is I feel like everybody should start at the same area. I feel like there should be a spot at the very bottom where everybody starts in and then it expands. With the way that it is, you're going to have people who will automatically probably get there first. People are just going to have better routes. And I feel like that's just It could be so much better, but unfortunately, it's right around with Blooper. It's just a little lower than Blooper. Next up, we got Kamek's Rocket Rampage. This one is also really good. I don't know why, but the first thing that I think of whenever I see it, for some reason, is Cuphead. And if you're drawing my mind to Cuphead, that's a good sign. Obviously, it's not as hard as Cuphead, but I think it's really fun. Everybody has like their little ships. You get the rockets, you blast the rockets. You got to make sure that he doesn't shoot you. I think overall, it's pretty good. It's going to go right around with King Boo. It's not going to go as high as King Boo, but it's right around there. Up next, even though it's a little out of order, I don't know why it's a little out of order, but we have megacooper. You go up a platform, you jump on a rope, and then you jump on the megacooper. Ooh, I'm really enjoying this one. Oh, and then there are times that you'll just miss, and then you'll jump into the fire. Yeah, you can tell I don't care for this one. Just go with the other D's. And the last boss minigame is Bowser's Tank Terror. In my opinion, the best boss battle. Everybody's in tanks, you're shooting the shit out of Bowser. Some people will be able to get mushrooms to, you know, get some more points, and then once you reach the halfway point, he goes into the lava, becomes Dry Bowser, and now it's just shooting him, and then he has the huge projectiles that can come and hit you. Overall, I think it's a really good boss battle. It's the only one that I actually give half of a shit about. I mean, Boo, Koopa, those are, you know, alright, but this is the one that I care about the most. This one is going towards the top of B. And finally, we are moving on to the Bowser minigames that you can get in the Bowser mode. The first one we have is Bowser's Bad Breath. With Bowser's Bad Breath, I think it's okay. Usually if you're playing the Bowser mode and you only have a few lives left, this isn't one that you're sitting there going, oh fuck, we're done. Because, you know, you can avoid it. So this one is alright. Bowser's mechanic, I don't really care for blowing, but okay. It's alright, so we're just gonna put it in C tier. Up next, we got Bowser's Hammer Slammer. This one, yeah, the 4 people, 3 people, however many people that aren't Bowser usually have the advantage here. If you can really time it out, you can make it to where Bowser will almost never hit you. So, yeah, this is, you know, right on that border of low C, high D. Up next, we got Bowser's Firebar Fury. Like I said with the other two, where it's, you know, you're not too scared when it comes up, this one you should be fucking terrified. If you have somebody who really knows the motion controls of the Wii U gamepad, they will kick your ass. If you are Bowser, this is probably one of the more fun minigames that you have. If you're the 4 players, I mean, it's still fun, but it's not fun in the point where if you got somebody that's good, you just want to fucking throw your controller at them. But I mean, overall, I still think it's a fun minigame, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Up next, we got Bowser's Wicked Wheel. With Bowser's Wicked Wheel, the guy spins the wheel, and you gotta make sure that you stay between the 2 electric parts. Not too difficult, also not too fun. So yeah, this one's going to C. Up next, we got Bowser's Bogus Bingo. Who wants to play bingo? Pick a card, make sure that you don't win, because if you win, you lose. It's all luck. And you know what? It's fucking stressful luck. So I'll put this one, you know, towards like the top of C. Next up, we got Bowser's Pinball. Bowser's playing pinball, don't get hit by the ball. That shit will bounce around like you never seen. So just make sure you're paying attention. I think it's all right. This is probably going towards the middle of C. Up next, we got Bowser's High Dive. This one, if you're really paying attention, you can make it to where you'll almost never get hit. So it's another one of those where if you're really paying attention, you won't get hit. So yeah, this one's all right. I'm gonna put this one, you know, towards the bottom of C. Up next, we got Bowser's Cluffle Climb. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like if I could mash the buttons a little differently than how they do it, you know, maybe like an AB, AB, rather than 5L, 5R, 5L, 5R. I think personally, I would prefer that, but I still think that it's pretty fun for both sides. But again, that also comes from me being somebody that likes mashing minigames. If you don't like mashing minigames, you're not gonna like it. But for me, I enjoy it, so I'm gonna put this one, if I can click it, over in lower B. Next up, we got Bowser's Sinister Slots. If the person that is Bowser really understands how slot machines work, then the other guys are screwed. If you happen to get, you know, one of this character, one of that character, one of that character, then each character will have a bomb, you know, just shoot out. Then each character will have a bullet bill kind of shoot out towards them, and that's nothing really hard to dodge. But if they somehow make it to where they match all three to one character, that character is getting 9 bullet bills coming their way. And boy, you're fucked. Because if they can do it consistently with every character, yeah, I don't know how the hell you win that one. But I think this one is alright. I think it's, you know, just a little bit better than the bingo, so it's gonna go up in C. And the last minigame for Mario Party 10 is Bowser's Roulette Rage. Bowser picks 3 different sections, or he can pick one section with one thing, or one section with 2 things, or he can pick one section and have all 3 of his picks in that one. Then he'll spin the wheel, and then stop it whenever he wants. If you're in one of the sections that Bowser has picked, you're gonna lose some hearts. My suggestion for you, if you're the players, stand between a couple of them if he has them all spread out, and then you'll probably make your chances of surviving just a little bit higher. But I think this one is fine. This one, you know, it's all right. Not the best, not the worst. It'll go towards, you know, a little bit towards like the middle to top of C. So, there we have it. That is my mini game tier list for Mario Party 10. After this, we will be doing one more, that is Super Mario Party. I have done like a top mini games for Super Mario Party, but I'm sure my opinions in the past 2 years since I did it have probably changed. So let me know down in the comments below. Do you like the list? Do you think the list is absolute dog shit? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below. What are your favorite mini games and what are your least favorite mini games? But with all that being said, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next one.